Hey everyone, intuitive and astrologer Lisa Salvatore here to talk to you about the remainder of February and the powerful full moon that we have taking place on February 24th. But first, if you are new here, welcome. And if you have been with me before, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here. If you know me, if you follow me, it is my goal to take the wisdom of the skies, of the stars, and bring them down to earth for you in a way that is very relatable, validating, and connected. All of my socials are linked below and everywhere that you can find me. My website is lisasalvatore.com. I still have some private consultations available for the month of March, so you can check that out at the link below. Sign up for my newsletter, also linked below, to receive weekly and monthly updates. Also, check out the Evolve Plus community. It's a TV app launched by psychic medium John Edward. It is a beautiful, supportive, metaphysical community and space. I also co-host a weekly podcast there as well, the upcoming energy and astrology for the week ahead. So again, you can check all of that out, linked right below in the description box. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So, how is everyone feeling? The energy is definitely intense right now. We're going to get into some of the why of that in just a moment. I'd like to get you to see this from a more deeply spiritual and karmic perspective about what you might be experiencing right now or what you might be feeling. Today that I'm recording this video, it is February 18th. Pisces season officially begins tonight, 11:13 p.m. Eastern Time. Happy birthday to all of the Pisces souls of the zodiac. It is your season. But more than that, I'd like you to think about the fact that the zodiacal wheel, the zodiac signs, nothing is a coincidence, right? Pisces is the 12th and final sign of the zodiac and represents the wrap-up of a cycle, the wrap-up of the astrological year. Aries season starts the solar new year when we get to the spring equinox on March 19th. So the significance of Pisces season in general, and specifically this particular Pisces season, is very profound. Again, Pisces as the final sign of the zodiac represents the wrap-up of a cycle. We have Saturn, the heavyweight social planet that's all about structure and karma and boundaries and rules and hard work, also limitations, blockages, frustrations, delays, but all with the promise of some sort of a reward when we do the work. And Saturn has been sitting in the sign of Pisces since 2023. Pisces is a very spiritual, compassionate, and connected sign. Pisces is all about following the intuition, the intuitive rhythms. It's a water sign. It's under the modality of mutable. And the feelings ebb and flow with Pisces. Pisces is the sign of the creative, of the mystic, of the poet, which is all of us to an extent. And don't forget, we all have Pisces somewhere in our birth chart. You can also download your free birth chart right on my website. It's linked on my homepage. There's always something mystical about the energy of Pisces, the sign of Pisces. Even a little otherworldly or divine. It's strongly spiritual and is strongly focused on healing, but it's more of the healing of the spiritual body. So right now we've got Mars and Venus both in Aquarius. We've got Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius with his claws on Mars and Venus, the cosmic lovers. They've been doing this dance for quite a few weeks building up. And this has been putting a very strong focus on our relationships of all kinds, and specifically the relationship that we have to self. So a lot of intensity is present right now, a lot of passion, a lot of heat, a lot of feelings of coming into a space of raw truth and authenticity within the self about what is really going on under the surface. And if none of this makes sense to you, then don't worry about it. Just fast forward and go to the full moon portion. But again, spiritually speaking, karmically speaking, we are all closing out cycles and patterns. We are getting ready to start the solar new year fresh. We've got Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. This is a very big deal. Again, you can always scroll back and listen to the Pluto through Aquarius videos. I'm not going to get into all of that again because I've already recorded full-on videos about that. And also by where it falls for you by your sign, by your rising sign specifically. But all of that to say, profound truth and change is the name of the game and on the table for everybody and at all different levels. So I invite you to ask yourself what has been coming up for you that has been heavyweight, heavy duty. Remember, Saturn's also in Pisces, okay? Saturn spends 2.5 years in each sign. And so Saturn is about to complete a full-on 28.5, 29-year cycle. He's not done here yet. We're going to have a lot more coming out in the realm of the creative arts, music, film, medicine. Saturn in Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So stay tuned. But you're likely feeling this energy to go deep, to not be so topical at the moment. And even if you're somebody who can normally go with the flow and not go too deep into the emotions, you might find yourself much more driven to the intuition, to the emotion, over the logic during this Pisces season, especially as we get up to this full moon. February 19th, we've got the North Node in Aries lining up with Chiron, the wounded warrior or the wounded healer. And this is just giving us an opportunity to truly feel and deal and heal wherever we need to. So just remember, when the raw, real truths, when something comes back to quote unquote haunt you, when it seems like it's repeating for you and you can't seem to shake it or to close it out, that's where you want to go within the wound, because that's where the medicine lies. That's the truth about Chiron. The medicine is in the wound. And the North Node is currently in Aries. Aries is all about the growth of the soul, the growth of the collective, the evolution of our destiny here. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's all about where you are an individual, where you stand in your sovereignty, where you are your own agent, where you have courage to stand up for what you truly believe in, to be yourself, while also paying respect to the others in your life. South Node's in Libra, exactly opposite. We're letting go of that which doesn't serve us, but we're doing so in a mindful and loving manner, finding the fine balance between selfishness, Aries, selflessness, Libra. Both have their place, like I always say. So a strong element of emotion and also healing that is very present right now. You might be feeling more sensitive than normal. Allow yourself to let the tears flow. Cry it out if you need to. Tears are very cleansing. They release toxins. Pisces is the sign that rules over toxins and pollutants. Fun fact. Again, it's all connected. Let's talk about the full moon that we have in Virgo. That is taking place on February 24th at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It's taking place at 5 degrees and 23 minutes of Virgo. So we will all be feeling the heat, the energy of this full moon, but it's going to be the strongest and the most pronounced for the mutable signs and placements, which are Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces, and even more so if your points or placements fall between 2 and 7 degrees. Also, if you have strong Taurus or Capricorn around those degrees. You're definitely going to be feeling this energy. And what I mean by that is you could be feeling much more determined and focused, but at the same time scattered and restless. Again, it's always a mixed bag, right? Now, Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury, and Mercury rules over many things, one of them being our nervous system. So Virgo moons in general can pull up more feelings of anxiety in the body, restlessness, or just excess energy. And it could be of the mental realm. So pay attention to the endless loops that might be running through your mind. Pay attention to the potential to overanalyze yourself, overanalyze something to the point of giving yourself a stomach ache. Virgo energy can do that to us. In their quest for getting things right, they can go overboard. So it's important to remember that perfection is a never-ending quest and it will never happen. Allow yourself to flow into the Pisces energy also. Allow yourself to trust in the intuition and trust in the unseen, that's Pisces, just as much as you trust in what's tangible, which is Virgo, that's Earth. Because Virgo and Pisces are the opposite signs, and that's how we have a full moon. The sun is at 5 degrees of Pisces, and the full moon is exactly opposite at 5 degrees of Virgo. Full moons are always going to pull focus onto the opposing energies in our lives. Head versus the heart, the ego versus the soul. And Pisces and Virgo are the axis of health and healing, also of service. Virgo is more of the earthly realms, the physical body, our health, our physical healing. Pisces is more of the spiritual body, our emotional health, our spiritual well-being. Again, we have to find the balance between the two. Now, because this is the last full moon of the cycle, because it's falling during Pisces season, and the next full moon that we have is actually going to be in Aries season. So that will actually be the first full moon we have in the new year, the astrological new year, and this is the final one. Another indicator of the wrap-up that we spoke about in the beginning of the video, the karmic closeouts that are taking place. And again, this does not have to be something of physical manifestation. It could be something of the emotional realms for you. It could be something much more personal. You could be coming to terms with something inside of yourself, your own unique creativity, your own unique soul path. It could be very private. But again, because this is a full moon that is the final full moon of the cycle of the astrological year, it just ramps up the themes of a full moon, which are all about letting go and also manifestation as we get ready to bring in the new year, the astrological new year. Now, this is particularly potent and powerful as we're leading up to the full moon during the waxing phase. So try to do any type of ritual 1 to 2 days before the full moon peaks. So think 222, 223. But again, if you do it 224 or 225, it's just as powerful, but it's a little bit more powerful as we're building up to the energy of the full moon. Remember, the moon is our soul. It is our inner world, where the sun is our ego. It's our life force. So again, there could just be a little bit of a push-pull dynamic that's going on right now for you between the head and the heart, especially because we're dealing with Pisces and Virgo. Very sensitive, intuitive signs. This full moon falls in the first decan of Virgo, which means it's very Virgo. And the tarot card that represents this full moon is the Five of Cups. If you notice on this card, the figure has his back to us and to the cups that are still standing, and we can see the 3 cups spilt over in front of the figure, representing the focus on the emotionality of what is gone before us, but not recognizing what still stands behind us. Again, this is cups that we're dealing with. This is emotion. So there's definitely a recognition, and perhaps a very emotional recognition, of that which is no longer with us, or that which can no longer come with us into our new reality, into the next phase of our lives. But it's really important to remember and to recognize what good is still there, what is still standing, and lean into that, because there are still 2 cups that are full. When we focus on the spilled cups, we lose part of that magic. We miss the magic. And this is a full moon centered around what is possible. There's a lot going on around this full moon that I feel makes it that much more potent. So let's go ahead and look at the chart. And again, I'm talking about personally speaking, spiritually speaking. All right, so here we have our full moon, February 24th, 2024, 22424, 7:31 a.m. Eastern Time. And we see right here, we've got the sun at 5 degrees of Pisces, and exactly opposite, we see the moon here at 5 degrees of Virgo. Again, that's how we have the full moon. And here we have Saturn, the anchor, Big Daddy Saturn, very tightly lined up with the sun and opposite this full moon. Now, I actually like Saturn here. I feel like he provides the groundedness and the structure to the Pisces energy that can sometimes swim in uncharted territory, that can sometimes be ungrounded. I always say, think about the archetypal Pisces energy. Think about the symbol for Pisces. It's 2 fish swimming in the opposite direction. That is sometimes how Pisces energy can actually operate. It's a mutable sign, it's water, so it can flow almost to the point of, what's that saying? Only dead fish go with the flow. You're not a dead fish. So you're not always meant to go with the flow. There's something about tangible efforts and bringing things down into reality and grounding the energy. And this is a Virgo moon, opposite Saturn conjunct the sun. So I feel that this is going to bring in a groundedness, an anchor to anything that is feeling ungrounded or unsafe or insecure. But it's not going to come without a bit of resistance. But Saturn provides that structure. Remember, Saturn does show us where we might have some blockages, some limitations, some restrictions. But when we dig into it, we recognize what are the barriers. It's always very karmic with Saturn. So I actually like the structure and the support that Saturn's providing around this full moon. This full moon is also in opposition to Mercury. This is interesting because Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. So Mercury favors being in the sign of Virgo. It is said to be in its domicile here, which means that in the opposite sign of Pisces, it's actually in its detriment. It doesn't love to be in the sign of Pisces. In Pisces, Mercury can struggle to do the things that he does best. Mercury rules over the way that we think. It's our mind, it's information, communication, both written and verbal. It's the way that we think. And I always use this analogy when I talk about Mercury and Pisces, because Mercury does rule communication. So think about when you are swimming in a pool, and when you were a kid, I don't know if you did this or if I'm just a weirdo that did this and you didn't, but I used to talk underwater. My sister and I used to do it as a joke. We would try to talk to each other and figure out what the other person was saying. But anyway, Mercury in Pisces operates a lot like talking underwater and someone trying to decipher what you're saying. You may think that it sounds clear, but all they're hearing is wah, 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 wah. It's also like the Charlie Brown, the teacher. If you watch Charlie Brown, you know what I'm talking about. So there's a little bit of caution around this full moon when it comes to communication, because things can feel very nebulous. That's the thing about Pisces energy. It can feel otherworldly or just very intuitive. But also helping along with Saturn in Pisces to ground us. We've got Pluto here now at 1 degree of Aquarius. He's moved to 1 degree. And then we've got Mars and Venus still tightly aligned over here in Aquarius, the cosmic lovers. So this is definitely bringing in, again, a feeling of, I don't want to say heaviness, but a feeling of seriousness or weightiness to all of our dealings, to all of our connections, to all of our relations with others, for better or worse. There's something, again, about truth, authenticity, being real, being raw, being authentic, if only to yourself, of course, and then to others or with others. But I like this with all the Pisces energy as well. So expressing ourselves might be something that feels like it needs to be done under this energy, or you're going to burst. But again, with Mercury in Pisces, keep in mind that others will be more sensitive and you might be more sensitive and more reactive as well. So think things through. Don't talk underwater. Try to talk on land, Virgo. Now, at this time, we've also got Jupiter over here at 10 degrees of Taurus, moving into a conjunction with Uranus at 19 degrees of Taurus, and that will perfect officially in April. So you may find yourself channeling a lot of this passionate, focused energy into your finances or into real estate. So if it's not a relationship for you with another person or with people, it could very well be your relationship to your own finances, to what you value. That's Taurus. So you might really start to become more and more aware of your finances, of your relationship to them, of things that you would like to spend on or save with. Also financial opportunities that could be coming in for you. But again, there's something about weighing out the options and being true to yourself about what would be best for you. Venus and Mars are over here breaking away from the claws of Pluto, and they're like, okay, we got the message. We'll do it. We'll do what we need to do. We'll say what we need to say. We'll go where we need to go. Get me out of the underworld. It's too intense here. But something will have emerged from the past 6 weeks for you. Something that has come up from your soul, from your psyche, a recognition, a revelation. Some part of you has transformed, if it's even only just a thought process. Let me know if you resonate with that in the comments. And I think if you have points or placements at the earlier degrees of Aquarius, you're definitely going to be feeling this. And again, it can be in the best way possible. I also want to emphasize that this full moon, again, focuses on healing. So if you feel like you're being broken open, Pisces energy is amazing for music. I mean, all energy is amazing for music. Connecting to music is very cathartic, it's very healing, but even more so when we're under the energy of Pisces. It's mystical, it's magical. Pisces can tend to numb out. So if you are going to numb out in any way, vibe to music. Allow yourself to listen to the songs with the lyrics that really hit your soul. That's going to help you. I have to say, babies that are born under this energy are going to be like so badass. They're going to be so creative, so mystical, so intuitive, and yet so grounded. I mean, they may have to go through their peaks and valleys to get and utilize all of these energies and harness them all, but it's here. It's rational, it's creative, it's intuitive. Okay, so let me pull some focus onto a very important factor around this full moon and around Pisces season in general. So again, I mentioned that Pisces does rule over the spiritual body, spiritual healing, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune and also Jupiter. Pisces rules over toxins, pollutants, it's also our blood. And then we have the opposite sign of Virgo where this full moon is sitting. And Virgo is all about our physical health. It's all about our gut, which is interesting because Pisces is also all about our gut, but in the sense of Pisces, it's more about the gut, the soul. Virgo is also very intuitive, but it's also more about the physicality of your gut, literally your gut lining, your digestive system, your small intestines. That's Virgo. Also the nervous system. And Virgo also speaks to our nutrition, our daily habits and routines, both health-related and otherwise. So this is a very strong energy that if you've been wanting to start a cleanse or focus on detoxing your body, the physical body and or the spiritual body, this is a great time to do some sort of manifestation ritual, to let go of the habits, patterns, and behaviors that are not serving you, or make a vow to do that, and move toward the ones that you want to implement for yourself. We've got earth, water energy here. Mars up here at 8 degrees of Aquarius is also square Jupiter here at 10 degrees of Taurus, and Venus is as well. Venus is also square Jupiter. In a way, that can be positive and abundant energy. It can be very sexy, very creative. It can really blow the doors open on desirous things in our lives. But there's always a caution, because we are dealing with the square aspect, that too much of a good thing can sometimes be detrimental to our physical health and or to our emotional and spiritual health. So it's time to be honest and get real about what feels good and is it really good for you, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And then furthering the sentiment of taking care of the physical body and doing that which supports your system, your nervous system, your emotional system, your spiritual system. We have Ceres up here at 5 degrees of Capricorn. Ceres is the great Earth Mother. She kind of acts like a second moon. She's in a supportive aspect, a trine, to the moon in Virgo, and also a supportive aspect to the Sun-Saturn conjunction here. So again, another indicator of what we put our energy toward is what we will create for ourselves, and that we have the power to do it. Remember, where attention goes, energy flows. That's a very strong sentiment around this full moon. It is very focused on healing. You see the North Node Chiron conjunction that I mentioned earlier right here at 16 degrees of Aries, opposite the Libra South Node, 16 degrees. Again, this is about letting go to grow. And I added in here, we've got the moon conjunct fixed star Thuban. Thuban sits in the tail of the dragon in the Draco constellation. By the way, if you want to connect more to the night sky, you can actually download the Star Walk app or the Night Sky. They're both two really good apps so that you can connect to the night sky more and see all the constellations, if that's your jam. Now, I added this in here because if somebody has the fixed star Thuban in their birth chart very closely aligned with the sun or the moon especially, It speaks to a depth of character, a richness of soul and spirit. It indicates very strong artistic skills and a passion for the arts, which is also very strong in Pisces energy in general. So there's something here about tapping into your natural talents, that which you're naturally drawn toward, and not being afraid to pull yourself in that direction and not worry about what other people think or that you can't do it. Allow your soul to sing. So again, with this full moon in Virgo, conjunct fixed star Thuban, opposite the sun in Pisces, is a strong pathway for creativity and healing. With the North Node conjunct Chiron in Aries, where do you want to take leadership for yourself? Now, there's also a shadow side to Thuban, and I wasn't going to mention it, but I feel like I have to, considering what's going on in the world. There's actually a British conspiracy theorist who talks about the constellation of Draco. And I don't want to misquote it, but there's something about, he says that the shadow side with Thuban are reptilians that lurk in underground bases here on Earth that are trying to plot against and destroy humanity with the assistance of powerful figures. And they even mention including royalty. Not saying I believe that, just letting you know what's out there. Thuban in Arabic actually means large snake. But again, I'm going to focus on the positive here. What makes your soul sing? What makes you feel alive? What is the pathway to your healing? What does that look like for you? And by the way, the British conspiracy theorist that I'm talking about, his name is David Icke. So again, be sure to look to your birth chart to see the area of the chart where this full moon will fall for you, a part of your chart that contains Virgo. And that area will be receiving the energy here the strongest. And you always want to follow your rising sign, especially when you have your exact time of birth, as it does set the calculations for your whole entire chart and will be most accurate if you follow the rising sign. But you can also follow your sun sign. So if you are an Aries rising, the full moon is going to take place in your 6th house, which is the house of Virgo. It is the house of your daily routines, your health habits, your service. If you're Taurus rising, it will be your 5th house. Gemini, it will be your 4th. Cancer, it will be your 3rd. Leo, it will be your 2nd. Virgo, it will be your 1st. Pretty profound for you. Libra, it will be your 12th. Scorpio, it will be your 11th. Sagittarius, it will be your 10th. Capricorn, it will be your 9th. Aquarius, it will be your 8th. And Pisces, it will be your 7th house. Be sure to check out what those houses represent, and you can set some intentions and manifestations in those areas of life. I was going to do a reading for each sign, but honestly, that's just not the way it went. So there you have it. I hope that this was helpful. Happy full moon and happy remainder of February and happy Pisces season. I hope that this was helpful.